Finally, an LR Jackie Chun is coming to Dokkan Battle. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan Battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at something very special coming to JP Dokkan. JP has their next World Tournament LR announced, and it is an INT LR Jackie Chun. Some very, very well-deserved representation from the Dragon Ball saga. A big moment in the original Dragon Ball series, and I am excited to see this guy in Dokkan Battle. Now, this isn't typically a topic I cover when it comes to JP news. Normally, I stick to Dokkan Fest announcements and big events coming up, but this one has me hyped. Aside from a few moments from Dragon Ball Super, Dragon Ball GT is always going to be my favorite, but DB Saga especially, the original Dragon Ball, is always going to have a special place for me, and to see it represented in Dokkan Battle, always going to be a huge plus, always going to go out of my way to cover it. So without further ado, let's go ahead, let's jump in, and let's take a look at their animations. Thanks to Kawhi over on Twitter, we do have the animation, so we are going to pause the music here. Make sure your headphones are adjusted, and let's give it a listen. I believe this is his 12 key. Nice. And this is his 18 key. Oh, nice. The after image. Oh, wow. That's really good. I like that. Those are clean animations for a free-to-play card. All right, let's scroll on up here. We do have the active skill here. So let's take a look at that. Wow. That is awesome. The full power Kamehameha. I am super hyped for that. All right, let's go ahead. Let's take a look at what this bad boy does. So let's get our music back here. All right, so let's go ahead. Thanks to Minato over on Twitter. Thanks to him, we do have the translations for this guy. So he is a INT type. He is leader skill, world tournament, category key 3, HP attack and defense 130%. I do believe this is the highest world tournament leader we have, right? I think the previous highest was 120 with the AGL Goku and Vegeta Jr. So this is kind of nice. I mean, hopefully one day we'll eventually get that 170 or 200% lead from a DFE, but for now I'll settle for this. Not to say that the category is all that great to begin with, but at least we're slowly getting better leader skills for it, especially for when they start throwing missions at us. So his 12 key raises defense for 1 turn, causes colossal damage with a high chance to stun. His 18 key raises attack for 1 turn, causes mega colossal damage with a high chance to stun. So both his 18 and 12 key have high chances, 50% chances to stun. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good effect. Looking at how it's set up there, just on the super attack effect, I would almost say it's beneficial to go additionals, right? Take advantage of that attack raise, so that way your second attack can deal more damage, even though it's not mega colossal multiplier, but also getting a defense raise. So I could see that being really nice. We'll have to see what the rest of his passive looks like, but I could see that working, because plus that'll also give you 2 chances to stun, right? Flip that coin twice. So I could see that being the way to go for this guy. But let's take a look at his passive, see if maybe he's got some additional chance in there. His passive is key 4, attack defense 120%. He is world tournament category allies, except for this character, key 3, attack and defense 50%. Now that's really interesting. He doesn't buff himself, but he buffs the rest of his allies for 50%. Now, I mentioned this with like a few of the characters that had come to JP already, that like the Trunks and Giru and the Hachan and a few others. Like, I felt like we were going to start seeing more of these 50% support units. I'm glad that I was right, and we're going to start seeing 50% be the way to go from here on out. 40% just not cutting it anymore for support types. So nice to see that. It is a shame that he doesn't buff himself, especially with such a limited World Tournament category, but I could see him still. Yeah, I could see him still working to buff that category if you're running like other characters who happen to be on World Tournament, right? So there could still be some use for that support. He does give himself an additional attack 20% up to 60% with each super attack performed, an additional defense 20% with up to 60% with each attack performed. That's kind of interesting. So he gets attacked 60% after what, 3 attacks, and defense 60% after 3 attacks. So he's got what, a total of 110% after, no, I'm sorry, 260% after everything's all calculated. That's pretty good, right? That's not bad at all. When he hits an enemy with his Ultra Super Attack, he reduces the damage received from that enemy by 50%. That's actually a really good effect. And, you know, seeing that effect, actually, I would totally say go additionals, right? Get that attack raise on the first hit. Maybe stun him. If you don't stun, at least you're reducing damage and raising your defense if you happen to proc the 12 key. So it's actually really good. It's just like sort of an added cushion in case you happen to not get the stun. That can be very useful in, say, Super Battle Road, because obviously you won't always be you won't always be handling just one enemy, but it'll help you sort of mitigate damage from other enemies, right? One specific enemy. So I can see this working. In singular fights, this is going to be a really powerful skill, right? Because you're only fighting the one enemy who is now 50% weaker whenever he attacks you. So I like this effect. This is a really good effect. I wonder if we could start seeing it on more characters. His active skill can be activated after performing 6 or more attacks in battle, or 4 or more attacks during battle. Super attacks during battle. Okay, so that's interesting. So either 4 supers or just 6 normals. 6 normals could be kind of hard, right? Even if you're full additionals, right? You're still likely only going to see that maybe by turn. If he's on turn 1, you'll probably see that by turn 7. But with 4 super attacks, however, maybe by turn 5 if he's on turn 1. But and you procced 2 supers each time. But otherwise, I mean, 4 super attacks is really not that bad of an effect. That's a pretty easy condition to fulfill, honestly. But what does it do? It is temporarily raising attack by 610% for the turn, and gain 64% chance to crit. So yeah, I would definitely say additionals is the way to go, especially for that active skill turn, right? That's going to be a really powerful turn for that hit. After the active skill, the full power Kamehameha. So yeah, I would totally go for that. I see that working really, really well that turn. So his links are Brainiac's World Tournament, Champion, Kamehameha, The Incredible Adventure, Guidance of the Dragon Ball, Shattering the Limit, and Legendary Powers. So pretty typical for a Dragon Ball Saga unit with the Guidance of the Dragon Balls and The Incredible Adventure. So he'll have at least 2 links with other DB Saga units. The Shattering the Limit and Legendary Power, if there are other LRs on the team, you'll handle that, because most of the other DB Saga LRs are all free to play, so that'll be pretty easy to get those links. He is World Tournament 4 power, DB Saga, Kamehameha, Earthlings, Battle of Wits, Planetary Destruction, and Accelerated Battle. So I mean, he's not really helping out categories like full power or Kamehameha or anything like that, but he's a definite buff to DB Saga, World Tournaments, and Earthlings, I would say. But otherwise, the rest of those are pretty filled to the brim with powerful units, so I wouldn't say he's going to be doing much on the rest of those teams. But all in all, I like what he does. This is a pretty interesting unit. I'm excited to use this unit, but the problem is, I'm on global, so I guess the next question is, when can we expect to see him on global Dokkan? Well, let's pop over here to the Dokkan wiki, and we've got an easy way to figure this out. So we are currently about to experience the 42nd World Martial Arts Tournament on global Dokkan here towards the end of the month, and we do know that because the in-game news did notify us that the Bulma Battle Prep event is coming, and whenever that event comes, we know there's a world tournament coming. So we can safely assume towards the end of this month, possibly next weekend, we should see a world tournament. But that world tournament is going to bring us our last copy of this Mercenary Tau here. Our first copy of this Mercenary Tau was handed out during the month of October last year during the 38th World Martial Arts Tournament. Now, this was pretty much our first one for the Tau, and JP had already received several of theirs already. So it could be a while, but I think following the trend, like if they're just going to jump straight into the next LR, because they did go pretty quickly on JP, and on global we are kind of behind. If we get the last copy of Tau on this 42nd World Martial Arts Tournament, then I do believe on the next one, which will be the 43rd, is when we will see our chance at the LR Jackie Chun, because we almost always get a world tournament during the January time slot. Now, they could push it, but I mean, in recent years, there's always been one. They've moved around a lot of different world tournaments, but this one is always here, the New Year's World Tournament. So I have a feeling this will still be there, and we will be getting the next copy of, or our first copy of Jackie Chun during this one. If not this one, then definitely by the next one, which will be a couple months later in March. But I don't see them waiting too much longer than that to push out the next LR. Otherwise, right, they're going to start being left to the wayside. We end up in the situation with Demon King Piccolo where he was practically oversaturated. They ran him way longer than they should have, and I do think with how fast this next world tournament came around with JP Dokkan with the Jackie Chun, I think they learned their lesson from the Demon King Piccolo. So I imagine once we get the last copy of Tau on this 42nd, by the next one, the January world tournament, is when we will see the Tau, or not the Tau, the Jackie Chun come to global. At least that's just my thoughts, my prediction. I could be wrong there. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me, if you think I might be wrong, or if you think I'm way off, or maybe I'm missing something that I'm just not seeing here. But that's just kind of my thoughts on that. There is one last special thing with this World Tournament on JP Dokkan. If you're somebody who plays through World Tournament on JP Dokkan, if you place in the top 50 of this Tenkaichi Budokai, this World Tournament, you can actually be invited to the 8th anniversary fan meeting, the special meeting held at a local venue, I'm assuming in Japan, where they'll have a bunch of limited timed events and souvenirs and stuff like that. And I believe they'll also be spending time talking about getting player feedback on what to expect for the 8th anniversary. So if you're someone who is in Japan or near Japan or can afford a ticket to Japan, this might actually be something that is pretty good to you. I don't know if you have to actually be living in Japan to participate, but hey, it's worth a shot if you can actually score top 50 on JP Dokkan for their World Tournament. Worth a shot, because this could be a really interesting opportunity if this is something you're interested in. So, anyways, guys, that's the video. That is the LR Jackie Chun for this special World Tournament on JP Dokkan. Like I said, I'm always down for talking about anything related to the original Dragon Ball saga, and this has me really excited. And if it has you really excited, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, are you excited for this World Tournament LR, or are you still trying to vie for those more copies of the Mercenary Tau? Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.